In the previous lecture, we learned how we can use Unity's component system to affect the state and behavior of game objects. And Unity has lots of built-in components that we can attach to game objects to do that. As I've mentioned previously, the C# scripts that we write are also components in Unity's component system, so we can write our own custom components that we use to affect the state and behavior of game objects by attaching those scripts to those game objects. Let's go explore those ideas a little more in Unity. Let's go ahead and modify the behavior of our teddy bear game object by adding a script component to the teddy bear. Remember I said in the previous lecture that we can affect the state and behavior of a game object by adding or removing components, and scripts are components that we can add to a game object to affect its behavior. Remember, our scripts are C# classes, and once we attach that script to a game object, when the game object gets added to the scene, it actually has an instance of that class, an actual C# object attached to that game object. In my assets folder, I'm going to create a new folder called scripts. And then I'm going to create a new C# script. And I'm going to make a mistake here that is fairly common, even with experienced Unity programmers. So I want to show you the resolution of that mistake. I don't want this script to be called new behavior script, but say I click somewhere by mistake. So now I've made that new behavior script and I don't want it to be new behavior script. So I'm going to actually rename it. I want it to be talker. So I'm going to rename the script to be talker. And that's great. Here in the editor, that script is called talker. I want to edit the script, so I'll double click it to open it in Visual Studio. But you'll notice here, the class name is still new behavior script. And that will actually cause us problems when we try to attach this script to a game object. Unity won't let us do it because the script name in the Unity editor is not the same as the class name here. There's an easy fix. Let's just change that to talker. But if you write a script and you can't attach it to a game object in your scene, it's entirely possible that that's your problem. So you should check that. Prints a message. We won't need the update method in this script because we don't want to do something on every frame. We just want to do something once when the game object is added to the scene, which for this particular game object will happen when the scene opens as we run the game. And I'll say something. Remember, in Unity scripts, we don't use console.writeline. We use either debug.log or print. And that's just personal preference. Whichever one you want to use, that's what you should use. And I'll say, I'm the best game object ever. I can compile here just to make sure I don't have any compilation errors. But I can't run here. I can't use Control F5 like we do with console apps to actually run this. I need to run back in the Unity editor. So I'm done here in Visual Studio. I'll just close this down. And when I run my game, over in the console window, nothing is printed out. And I'm very sad about this, but this is also a common mistake. You go off and you write your script and you've implemented the logic you want in your script and you come back and it doesn't work. That's because the script is part of our assets in our game, but if the script is not attached to a game object, then it won't ever actually run. So what we need to do is we need to attach this script to a game object. And we've done this before. We've attached scripts to the main camera. This time I'll attach it to the teddy bear. And when I come over to the inspector, you can see the script is attached to the game object. And over here in the console window, it has printed out its message. Now I will say that I made a mistake here that I also wanted to show you. It turns out that I did that while the game was running. And one of the features of the Unity editor is you can modify stuff while the game is running that doesn't save it as part of this base game object. It's just a temporary modification that you made while the game was running just to see what would happen. So if I stop running the game and select the teddy bear and save my scene, you'll see that the teddy bear actually doesn't have the talker script attached to it. That was a temporary thing I did while I ran my game. So if you're trying to make permanent changes to your game objects, like attaching a script to it, you need to make sure your game is not running when you do it. So let's do that one more time. I'll drag the script onto the teddy bear. You can see it's attached now. And this is the message from the last time I ran the game, so I can clear that. And by the way, the console clears when you start running the game every time. I just wanted to show you that it starts blank here. And then if I run my game, which you can also do with Control P, you'll see I'm the best game object ever. And I'll Control P again to stop running my game, which you can see right here. Now the nice thing about scripts is we can attach this component to as many game objects as we want. So I can take this talker script and I can attach it to the main camera as well. And I'll select the main camera and show you that the script is attached to that game object as well. And back in the console window, I'll clear it so we start blank. I'll Control P to run the game. And you can see that we get that message twice. So one of those is the teddy bear game object executing the talker script and printing that message to the console. And the other message is from the main camera. So we can also attach the same script to multiple game objects to give those game objects the behavior that's specified in that script. In this particular case, printing that message. To recap, in this lecture you learned that we can think about the C# scripts we write as custom components that we attach to game objects to affect their state and behavior. You also learned that we can attach the same script to multiple game objects to give them the same behavior as specified in that script.